So recently I've been looking for the perfect alternative name for the so-called Democratic Party, since there is nothing democratic about them. And essentially the fact that they're still a party is mind-blowing. Now, some of these alternatives range from, the party of mental illness, right? Or the party of mental instability, the party of unhingedness, the party of violence, the party of gaslighting. But one that I feel I've oftentimes overlooked and just can simply explain most of their behavior is the party of cringe. As simple as that. Everything they do can be encapsulated in this one word: cringe. The ultimate ick. There has not been once, and I've gone through a multitude, I'm talking about a few dozen of these types of videos. Not once have I thought to myself, wow, this is something I would want to be a part of. This seems like something that would be appealing to the sane-minded, rational individual. And so that being said, I want to start off today's segment of the Party of Cringe with who these people think they are, and then we're going to get into who they actually are. So if you're here for entertainment purposes only, you will be entertained. And if you're here for the education, you will be educated. You will likely lose brain cells in the process, but neither you or I can help that. So without further ado, let's get into clip number 1.
Proud to be woke, proud to be a liberal, proud to be a Democrat. Hell yeah.
Said nobody ever.
What does that mean? That means that I care about everybody. That means I care about the USA. That means I care about our air. That means I care about our parks, our oceans. That means
you need to care for your own mental health. The eyes are the windows to the soul. And there's nothing in them windows. I'm just going to say it. There looks to be nothing.
I care about what is going on. That doesn't mean that I am a MAGA, which is a racist Republican. There is a complete difference. You can be a Republican and you're not a MAGA and you're not a racist piece of shit. But yes, I will always stay woke. I will always be a liberal, and I will always care about my country.
So she is essentially stating that she will always not take her meds, which is quite unfortunate because you and I both probably feel the same way. Elizabeth, please take your medication. Now, here's a funny thing. I did not expect that little tirade at the end, but they always have to tie MAGA. They always got to get to Trump. It is full-blown stage 5 Trump derangement syndrome that is currently taking place. Yeah, the party of racism. You will always be a Democrat, right? So let me just give you a little insight. The Republican Party, formed in 1854, was created for some would say the sole purpose of eradicating institutions such as slavery. And who are the ones who are upholding slavery? It was the Democrats. So, yeah, just had to throw that in there. So that's our first, introduction to who these people think they are. Now let's get into who they actually are. So brace yourself for this right here. I've only read the header on this one. So again, I don't know where we're going. When we do these types of videos, I'm just as mollywopped, as gobsmacked as you are in real time. So we're just gonna go ahead and
hey everyone,
and dive head first. Nope, let's get that.
So it is Sunday morning and I am gonna play a nice song for all my Trump supporter neighbors. I'm gonna wake them up and it's really good. I got a loudspeaker and I'm gonna blast it. And what I'm gonna do is wake them up. And I'm the only Democrat on the street. So here we go. It is an air raid siren sound and I got a huge speaker.
These These are miserable people. Like, what reasoning could you come up with for this? Besides the fact that you hate yourself, you hate your mere existence, and you want others to bask in that self-hatred with you. Perhaps it may be contagious enough to, I don't know, spread throughout the community. What other reason do you have to just blatantly annoy your neighbor? Like, who's wired like that? Again, the party of cringe. To his fellow beings, entities, this is hilarious. Snot bubbles out the nose right now. I'm watching this like, what is wrong with you? And the likelihood is, if you have a neighborhood filled with Republicans, then you probably have a neighborhood filled with working people, which means they're probably already up. These are just the statistics, right? You're dealing with the pull yourself up by the bootstraps sort of crowd. So they're probably in the backyard already gardening or out doing something. Right? I'm just an FYI there. And the likelihood that siren is going to end in anything other than them hating you even more than they already do because of your own actions, then, to each their own.
Hey, everyone.
Yeah, well, misery does as misery is. So that right there is a little display, right? They're the party of tolerance. They're the party of inclusivity. They love everybody as I was going to say a woman, but they don't necessarily know the definition of such. So I'll go by their own definitions. The human I showed you before that video right there told us that they love everybody. They care about everybody. Well, except for those who they were told by their masters, by their overlords, to hate. So for a little more hate, let's get into this one right here. What do we have? Oh, wow. We have the rare young person. Imagine that. All these protests and stuff like that, it looks like a gathering of old folks. Like it's like an AARP commercial or something. I've fallen and I can't get up is what it looks like half the time. Shout out to my OGs out there, my common sense OGs, but y'all know that there's a whole lot of boomer delusion still taking place.
I don't want to see a single MAGA hat or Trump flag at a national park this summer.
There's something about, I don't want to say, by golly. Okay. Yeah, we're in for one of those. I'm going to just go ahead and let it play out.
I don't want to see a single MAGA hat or Trump flag at a national park this summer. Because if I do, I swear to somehow your tent's going to be left open and there's going to be bear bait in your fucking backpack. You traitorous piece of shit. I've not posted about it before, but I've been to a lot of national parks, and I'd like to see them all someday. And if the reason I don't is because you half-witted fucking simpletons voted them away so that the orange man could pillage and burn them because America first, I'll fucking lose it. Matter of fact, if you voted for him, you ought to be barred from entry because you clear.
Let me break something down for y'all. This is a little tangent, but it still ties right in. When you see a guy like this, maybe straight, and I use that term so loosely, all pun intended on the loosely part. When you see a straight male who is given over to this woke nonsense, 9 times out of 6, he's doing it to get some liberal cootnan. He's doing it for the liberal kitty cat. Simple as that. His virtue signal is to get into them draws, into them liberal draws, which it's like he really doesn't have to be doing all that because they just, that's what they do regardless, indiscriminately. So, you're really doing the most. But that's what y'all see there. He is using that as a form of game, i.e. a form of manipulation in order to virtue signal. So they pour into his comment section and he can get some. That's where that, the righteous indignation. I care so much about our national parks. Oh, and bad man, orange man is going to burn down our parks. Huh? But it doesn't have to make sense. As long as it fits the narrative, you can pretty much say whatever in his pursuit of the draw. So I wanted to give y'all that, because sometimes we may think that, oh, well, these are just misguided people, indoctrinated people. And there's a lot of that. These are just simpletons, dimwits, fully smooth-brained individuals, just, a lack of intellect. There's that as well. But there's also those like the virtue signal crowd, some who use it as just like a greater grandstanding within their own space. They use it as, peacocking in essence. And then you have guys like this who are using it to get some liberal draws. So, yeah.
Really don't give a fuck about them. And I do not care that you're posting about, well, save the national lands now. Because a year ago, I watched you gargle that orange piece of shit nuts on social media for months as he talked about that this is exactly what he fucking wanted to do. To use a nature reference for you, it's a little bit like if you went and lit a wildfire and then came back with the fire brigade. We wouldn't be in this fucking mess if it weren't for you. And before you start about, well, both parties are the same, I can promise you that Kamala's to-do list did not have pillage the national lands on it.
Well, look like Xander there seems quite pissed off about a whole lot of nothing. So, in the spirit of the party of cringe, let us conclude in a fashion that many of us may actually be used to seeing, which is the old white female original feminist liberal. Let us conclude.
Okay, we just bombed Iran. I am just sick to my stomach. I turned this on. That piece of lying.
Let's go ahead and just backtrack. Y'all see that right there? That little logo right there is a representation of what I like to call Lucifer's favorite television series. MSDNC is... I imagine when the devil's wrapping up his day, kicks his feet up, he's done tormenting, tempting, destroying. He sits back, he turns on the TV, and the first thing that comes up is Rachel Madcow on MSDNC. He's watching his work, in essence. So yeah, am I surprised that this is where her source is coming from? Absolutely not. Now, if you know anything about anything, this is much to do about nothing. Iran was not attacked. There were specific nuclear plants that were. Go figure. The very same nation that looked to destroy the United States, claiming that America is the big cow, or the big pig, excuse me. They say we're the big pig or the big devil, and Israel is the little devil in the way. The same one who chants death to America, the same regime, not the people of Iran. They hate their regime too. But anyway, I'm very curious to see where this goes, because I know with a face like that.
That piece of lying shit. They're all fucking crazy. All of them. They're in a cult. They'll do anything that this asshole says. And people are dying. And my heart is sick. And all I can think about is people.
Your head is sick. See, this is the category. The first one, there's some virtue signal, etc. This one right here is just full-blown insanity. This is your grandma, like, just glued to a television screen, listening and believing everything she hears.
I know her people voted for him, and they still support him. And he's turning our country to a shithole. They're kidnapping people off the streets. It's just, I am so scared for our country, and I'm so sick that people support him.
Nah, bro, this is kind of messed up. I'm not even gonna lie. I genuinely feel, I feel bad. I blame the entire leftist Marxist propaganda machine for not creating necessarily the mental illness, but perpetuating it, because there are those who are already susceptible. I mean, if you're already susceptible to liberal ideology, there's something at least morally wrong there, if not psychologically amiss. So when you get to this level, they're kidnapping. Oh, you mean ICE, who was doing their job in the same way they did during Obama's administration? They're attacking Iran? You mean doing the thing that every other former president claimed that they were going to do, but instead the likes of a Barack Hussein Obama dropped how many different bombs on how many different Middle Eastern nations without congressional approval? But, you know, we're not here to deal with facts. We're here to deal with the clinically unhinged.
And I don't understand, all because they wouldn't vote for the best person that could have been president right now, Kamala. Just, it's not like, oh, boo-hoo, you know,
satire. How is it?
Liberal tears. Oh, you know, they can't handle the Trump one. Really fuck that. Fuck him.
Like, the irony doesn't miss me, folks. The irony never misses me. Well, you think we should share liberal tears and we can't handle it? Well, guess what? We can't. No, you can't. You literally cannot handle reality in any subject matter at this point. Do you know that these same people, they, thems, in-betweeners, they have replaced their Mexican flags for Iranian flags? Not even Persian. Like, I'm talking about this regime, the regime that is anti-women, that is anti-Western world. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there, or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled Buy Me a Coffee. Leave a little something there, or click on the Cash App. Leave a little something here. Till the next time, peace.
I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 3, 6, 5, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up, you know them constellations. Constantly gazing like house of praises, you get to praising.